Well, thank you very much for this introduction. And I'm really, really pleased to be here with you today. And also very thrilled about Denmark being the partner country to this amazing and magnificent event on design and business. I was also very pleased to accept the invitation to come here as a speaker today, and especially to speak on the track design and brand, because it gave me the opportunity to present to you the brand Danish Design. And as you can see, I have called my presentation Embracing Our Legacy, Building Our Future. And I've done that because I think it's so very important to both understand and lean on the past in order to build your future. And that is so also very, very true of the legacy of Danish design. Even though my introduction, it was included in my introduction, I would like to say just a few words about the Danish Design Association, which is an association for design, business and innovation. And our focus is on how design can create growth, innovation, competitiveness. And also we have more than 100 companies represented in our network. Among those, you will find a great number here out in Hong Kong doing presentations. So I do hope you're going to meet them either here or in the Inspiration Hall. Among those, you will find companies like Coloplast, Design It, Fritz Hansen, Antobluon.com, Previs, and also the design schools are members of our network. And I think that's quite valuable that we have an ecosystem including students, schools, companies, and the industry in one network alone. Also, I would like to present to you a new Danish campaign that is going to be launched in the next couple of days. And I know for most of you, probably all of you, Danish means like pastry. But we will claim the right to take it back and say that Danish means a lot more than pastry, and it means what we are, what we define as Danish. It's who we are as designers and how we work as designers. The campaign will be rolled out in 3 years, and it's supported by the Danish Government, who is supporting and believing in design and architecture, as it has the capabilities of creating growth and employment, and we really do need that in our part of the world. It's a bit different from what we see here in busy Hong Kong and China. And also the purpose or the objectives of the campaign is to highlight the features of Danish design and architecture. If you want to know more about the campaign and follow it, and then you can check out the website at ddai.dk. So do hope that you will follow us on this campaign. Well, what is Danish design really? I think it's more obvious to people visiting Denmark to recognize what the Danish design is really. Because they would notice immediately when they arrive at the airport that this is truly a designed country. Everything is designed from the airports, the systems, down to the bus stop, to the garbage bin. And it's very obvious for people coming there that they recognize Denmark as a design society. However, I think it's very difficult for us Danes who are surrounded by design, marinated in design, I would even call it. From our very childhood, we have been used to design surrounding us all over the place. So for that reason, I think we have had the need to discuss what is Danish design? What is the Danish design DNA? How does it differ from other countries' design? And what's so special about this? And I think we have come to conclude that the Danish design forces, they rest upon our cooperative movement, our democracy, our welfare system, but also our approach to our human approach, And not least, I think Danes are very anti-authoritarian, and that makes a great difference in how we approach things and how we address things, and asking questions all the time. We're never like stopping. We're those kind of annoying people going on and never satisfied about an answer. I think that also makes us a great designers in the end. Danish design is definitely world famous. I think most of you know a lot of our furniture from what we call the Golden Age. That was defined in the 40s, the 50s, and 60s. And names like Hans Wegener and Finn Juhl, Børge Mogensen, Arne Jacobsen, I think they mean a lot to you, and you've probably recognized them. Then they are not like only Danish classics, they are iconic. They are icons, really, of the Danish design era. However, it's very difficult to be a Danish design student. How can they live up to those icons? How can they take on this heritage? How can they define themselves in that? And that has created sometimes a very frustrated young Danish designers, because they couldn't live up to the expectations and they had doubts about how to go about it. And that has sometimes resulted in that the young students, they have destroyed furniture like this by sawing off the legs. They did that as one event because they were so frustrated, in sheer frustration, they just destroyed the furniture because they wanted to get rid of this heritage that they felt was keeping them down and preventing them from developing into a new kind of a generation of designers. From the very first era of Danish design, it has been very important for Danish designers to make design affordable, accessible for everyone, not only for like the rich and for the rich and wealthy organizations and people. And I think it's very important in the definition of Danish design. Danish design was, you were able to buy Danish design in supermarkets in the very beginning of the era. You could actually buy the furniture there. That's a long time ago though, but it was possible at that time and it was really accessible. Also, form and function has played a major role in what is Danish design and how does Danish design come out and how does it come about. That has meant a lot for how to work with design in Denmark. Also, I think you would recognize that Danish designers, they are known for a special Nordic or Scandinavian kind of approach, that what I think you would consider very like minimalistic in this part of the world. And I think it's a unique combination of user awareness, of form, functionality, and aesthetics, which makes designs very accessible, but also desirable. And I think these coffee pots from Stilton, designed by Erik Magnussen, I think they also represent the Danish design and design, that design is for everyone and that it's possible to have nice things and have you surrounded by nice things if you want to. This is part of a 7-chair designed by Arne Jacobsen and produced by Fritz Hansen. And I think this is a very like timeless icon design, and it's still produced. And you'll find those chairs, you know, equally in ministries in Denmark, in hospitals, at schools. So those chairs you will recognize everywhere. So designed objects you will find everywhere in the Danish society. So it's only not restricted to a certain group of people. This is for all, really. So I think that's what makes both it accessible and possible to have design in your own home, but also to meet it in the public areas where you would meet. And I think also that what's significant of this is that it's made to last, it's made to be sustainable. That's very important also, that you don't change this chair, you don't buy a new chair in 1 year and put this to the waste bin, you keep this chair because you cherish this chair. So I think also it has a long-lasting perspective when you buy expensive design furniture, that it's long-lasting and it will stay with you for a long time. But what we have defined now is what we call New Danish Design. And New Danish Design, that is our future. This is what we're going to live on. And what's defining the New Danish is that it's more like using the tools and methods to use to solving global problems like renovation, clean water, taking care of waste and medical issues and stuff like that. That's the new kind of Danish design approach, and that's how the design tools and methods are used instead of like just spending all the time designing nice stuff surrounding us and on beautification, really. And this is what's called a yellow cap, and you can actually see it in the Inspiration Hall. It's designed by Yellow One, and it's an antivirus cap that is supposed to go on top of a used soda can, so where you can actually dispose of used needles, because as you saw in the index introduction, most people are infected by HIV by using used needles. So this is actually preventing needles to be touched by others when it has been used. So this is a very simple and affordable way of disposing of your needles. And it was actually also awarded the Index Award in 2007. And I think it's a very good example of like the new Danish designing to improve life for people and make the lives better for people. Use the design method and tools to go that way. Also, we have the belief in Denmark that design has the ability, but it's also obliged to use the design tools to make lives better for people. For instance, when you have a hearing disability, you should actually make the life better for people by designing elegant and useful hearing aids like these from Oticon. I think that those are very important, like in defining the future of design. What can design be used for? And also people with diabetes, the life for those have become much easier by the design of the Novo Nordisk Flex Pen, because the Flex Pen has made it possible for people to have this illness, because the pen helps them to an easier injection, and it helps them to design the amount of insulin that they're going to take. And it's a very like small pen, and it can fit into a very, very small handbag, so it's easy to actually carry around, and you can go to a party and no one really notices that you have this disease. So I think this is also a revolutionary kind of design, and it's done by a Danish designer. Well, Denmark is truly a biking country, and we really, really love to bike around for everything. We do that mostly, really, in Copenhagen. So if you visit Copenhagen, you'll find bikes everywhere. And they can be quite annoying, actually, because they take up a lot of space. But for our needs, we need great bikes. And we need flexible bikes. And also, it has become a priority for most Danish municipalities to have a very green and sustainable profile. So they will provide great biking lanes, and often you'll find that the biking lanes, they are broader than the car lanes. So that's a way of showing the priority that they want the cars out of the city, more bikes into the city, and they want the profiles to be sustainable and to be green, really. And also, I think that it's a good example of a Danish design thinking and a Danish approach that we can actually export. Well, I think this is a very, very cool device, and Bang & Olufsen is coming after me, and I think he's going to tell you more, but I think this device is so cool because even though that the sound is the most important feature of this project, of this object. I think it shows the desire still to combine form, function, and aesthetics in one product. And the main feature is just included within the product. I think that's very cool Danish design, actually. Also, when it comes to building, Danish design is becoming a major player. Because studies have shown, for instance, that this high school, which is a newly built high school at Ørestad, which is a new area of Copenhagen, that students, they learn more from one another than they learn from attending classes. And this is a very interesting study, and that is reflected in this building. As you can see, this is designed for the students to engage with one another. This is not designed to attend classes. This is a very creative, open area where they can actually more engage with one another and use different kind of medias. And so in that way, this has changed school for the students. So it's very interesting to see how it's going to come out in 3 or 4 years, whether they're going to be better students. I think so, actually, because they have a great freedom and they work differently from how we're brought up to go to school. So I think it's great that we dare to experiment, and also that we actually prioritize to supply such great buildings for students so that you have nice places to learn in. I think that's a great way of prioritizing our money in our society. And then we jump to New York, because this is biking lanes in New York, and it's actually also an extensive coffee areas further down. And this is designed by a Danish architect called Jan Gehl. And I think this is great examples of how to export Danish design thinking and how we work and how we live in Denmark. And the best of the living in Denmark, can we export that? Can that be a good thing for other peoples in other countries? I do hope so, because I think it's a great way of learning from one another and take the best out of a culture and bring it to another culture. And I think also that's the Danish way, because we're a very, very small country. We're so used to learning from others, and we're bringing in inspiration from other countries, and we're mixing it up with what's Danish, and then we call it Danish in the end. So I think we're very good at actually taking what we like and adapt it to the Danish behavior and lifestyle, and then we just call it Danish. This is the way we are, and this is the way we design things. And I think most of you are familiar with Lego, and you must have played with Lego, most of you. I have, at least, from I was very small. And Lego actually means play well, like God. That's what it means. And I think that the founder of Lego, he was very good thinker when he designed those building blocks, because he wanted to set the children's imagination free and give them the opportunity to play themselves with no instructions, just to build themselves. And I think that has also created the new possibilities of Lego going into a new dimension. So Lego is now also having a learning division where they actually use Lego as a learning tool. And they're rolling out this strategy around the world right now. And I think in China they have actually a lot of agreements how to roll out this strategy. So I think that's a very good example of the Danish design philosophy. That is Lego, and I think it's such a successful company that I'm very proud of that it has turned around, and it made a turnaround, even though it was very bad some years ago, actually. But they have actually turned their attention to the core business, and that is Lego. That is the building blocks. That's the core business, and nothing else. And they have just realized that. There was one person at Lego, he said to me, he said, well, there's only one thing that can destroy Lego, and that is Lego itself. That is when Lego is getting out of its core business area and start to think of new ways of doing business and innovating new products. then they get away from what is very important for them, the building blocks. They have to stay there, and they have to accept that that's the core business, really. This is actually new Danish furniture. And I think also it's very obvious that this leans on the Danish design heritage. And these might also become classics within time. And I think also what's great about it is that it's so easy to actually mix classics and new furniture, Danish design furniture is so easy to adapt to one another. So that's quite great, I think. These headphones, II, are designed by a company called Gitte, and I think they are great design, really. And I think because they're so playful and yet functional, and I think that kind of design thinking where you, like in the Bang & Olufsen product, have this hidden agenda about, well, sound is the most important thing, acoustic is the most important thing, but you can actually design this feature into an attractive looking product that can be usable and affordable. And they are actually quite cheap, those headphones. And what is this? Well, this is from a company called ICOGRADA, and this is a very old Danish company, and their focus is high technology textiles, and they have tried to work differently with the textiles, making them into products that can actually absorb sound. So you can actually build a room, and you can furnish your room with those, and you can use them as sound absorbers, or you could use them to divide your environments at your home or at your work. So I think that also shows that companies with old history, they can actually reinvent themselves and come up with new products based on the core business. In this case, it's textiles. And this is from a very great fashion show. And it's by a fashion designer called Henrik Vipskov, and he's actually giving a talk here today. I think what Henrik Vipskov is very capable of is fusing art and fashion. He's very talented. And also I think he's an example of what Danish fashion designers are capable of. They do functional clothing affordable, even though it's very looking very good and very luxury, it's quite kind of very affordable. And also in Denmark, we don't have a tradition of having like a night and day kind of outfits. So we need our outfits to be very practical. So when we go to work, we need the outfits to fit into both day and to work at day, but also at a function at the night. So you have to change your shoes perhaps and something like that. And when you come to Denmark, you will in the morning notice that busy moms, they jump on their bikes in high heels, so they're ready to go to work, but also go to go out at night and have fun in the same kind of outfit. So that's very kind of practical approach to clothing that we have in Denmark, also because we bike that much. But we don't prevent ourselves from biking in high heels. We do that as well. So we're very good at adapting our outfits to the weather and the conditions. But I think we're very low-key on how to dress up, really. And I also just want to touch a bit upon Danish architecture, because Danish architects, they are as recognized as Danish designers and very much internationally. And I think their approach to or empathic focus on human needs and functionality, and the approach to aesthetics and design builds on a heritage that is very strong, and it's building on simplicity and working with materials and on sustainable solutions. And it has a great emphasis on materials. This is a project done by Bjarke Engels group. And Bjarke Engels, he was here last year giving a great presentation, and he's quite world famous, I think. And this project is quite great, I think, because it's kind of combining on the outskirts of Copenhagen, it's a bit rural, so it's combining the rural area with the urban area. And still it's very light, and you have all the daylight streaming in. And in Denmark, I think we cherish light and sun so much that you will never find room, really, where there's no windows. Because we really suck up the light, because we need it, because we have this 6 months where we are low on light. So it's very important for us to use the light, the sun, to actually make our homes very comfortable and inviting. Also because we spent, I think, more time at home than you would do. We are kind of at home growing people. I think we enjoy being at home and doing things and having guests home and making dinner for people. So really, the home is our nest, really. This was actually what I was going to tell you. And I do hope that I have given you some impression of what Danish Design brand is, what the Danish Design brand is, and also what we're working on it to be in the future. Even though I think it's going to be a hard and long travel for us, even though we have a great tradition, I think also we look to the east, we look everywhere for inspiration, but we also, I think, fear that you are our competitors. You are our future competitors. And I think we cherish that you are and respect that you are very, very talented and that you actually educate a lot of talented design students. So we do hope that we can work together, and we do hope that you can see the advantages in also working together with Danish designers. Thank you.
Thank you, Gitte. That was really exciting. I didn't realize Danish design comprises such a diverse category of things, from architecture to graphics to very interesting. We have time. We have actually time for only 2 questions, unfortunately. So please take your chance. We'd like 2 questions for Gitte, please. Anybody? I can think of more than 10 myself to ask you. I'll ask you afterwards.
That's okay.
Yes. Yes, we have a gentleman here, please. Would you mind standing up? Sorry, would you mind? Thank you.
Hello. I have a question for you. I guess my question is, how do Danish come to see the value in design? I'm assuming that it didn't happen overnight. And you spoke of some very inspiring things, caring for people, understanding long-lasting quality in products, and sustainable profile and thinking, and free thinking, and human needs and functionality. I'm just wondering, how do people in your country shape this type of thinking and nurtured it? Was there a transition in process that people gradually became more and more attentive to design rather than?
Well, I think there was like a number of questions in this question. Because I think the focus of Danish design also moving towards like solving global problems of today using design tools and methods. I think that has come about also as in other countries because the earth is so, enormous. And we really have to think about how can we use what we have and how can we use our thinking to actually make this society or the global world a better place to live. So I think that has been a transition, yes, but it has been a global transition, and I think you're part of that as well. We are. But I think we have just had some more years with working with design and also refining our design thinking and our tools and methods to actually apply to other areas. And also I think it has taken a lot of time for the public sector and the corporate sector really to understand the full potential of design, seeing design as something else than beautification, and shaping form. I think it's obvious now for companies and the public sector that design is there to be used to actually shape a better life for people, and that they can use it to create more effectiveness, and they can use it for different kind of purposes to create innovation. But this is rather new, and only few companies in Denmark really truly understand this thinking. And I just saw over here, Eskil Hansen from Coloplast. They are actually one of the companies that I really admire a lot, because this is a big company, but they have actually taken design to the very strategic level, and they're working with design on top management level. That means a lot, because then design is part of the strategic thinking. So this is also, I think, a movement that we have to work with. And it's taking time, I can tell you, and it's hard work to convince and show what's the bottom line of using design. So because companies would always look for the bottom line. And I think design is like innovation. You cannot tell the output before you actually have the things at hand. And that makes it difficult to say, what is worthwhile? And that makes also some companies reluctant in investing in design. But we're trying to turn this around, really. So I think it has been a learning curve, also in Denmark, how to use design, and how design can actually change things more than we thought even like 20 years ago. Does that answer some of your questions? Good, great, thanks.
Thank you, Gitte. We have time for, we don't have time, because he asked more than, 5 questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gitte.
Thank you.
Gitte Just.